Hey friend, welcome back. My name's Kris Krohn, and today I'm going to talk about debt, and we're going to play a little game to determine whether it is actually good or bad, and I'm going to quiz you. I'm going to give you 5 questions, and let's see if you can get all 5 of them right. Okay, so check it out. What we're gonna do here is I wanna explain the difference between good debt and bad debt, and then what I'm gonna do is we're actually going to quiz you. I wanna give you 5 questions. I'm gonna show you 5 different types of debt, and you get to determine whether they're good debt or bad debt. Now first, I want you to understand the difference. A good debt, it's for some of you who've never even heard before. Good debt, like what are you talking about? Well, understand this. Debt, it's the only word in the English language that can mean a good thing or a bad thing, so it has 2 different meanings. Now, some debts are good and some are bad. Bad debts cost you money, so they're a liability and they only decrease in value with time. But a good debt does the opposite. It's an appreciating asset. It actually makes you money, and by having more of this debt, you're better off. Now, this sounds really weird because like if I had $100,000 of bad debt, just my monthly payment could like totally be financially squashing me. But if I had $100,000 of good debt, it might be making me maybe, let's say $600 a month. And I'm like, man, I want more of that debt. Man, I want $1 million of debt. And then all of a sudden you're making $6,000 a month. And you're like, oh my gosh, where do I stop? I want to get as much good debt as possible. Do you see how wild and extreme these are? Bad debt cost money. Good debt make money. Bad debt hurt you. Good debt help you. Bad debt take money. Good debt give money. Do you understand that difference? All right, cool. Now, based on that, let's play a little game. I have put here on this board 5 different kind of debts. First one is a car debt, right? Like you can't buy your car outright, so you get a loan, and now you drive a nice car, but you have a payment every month. That's a debt. Credit card debt. Investment property. I bought a home. That is debt. Business debt. I wanted to start a business. I actually went into debt for my business. And your own home, which is, dude, is your home a good debt or is it a bad debt? We're gonna play the game right now. I've explained the difference between good debt and bad debt. It's like freak, it's like a game show. I'm a game show host, like for one time in my life. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna ask, are these things good or are these things bad? And by the way, when we say good and bad, what we really mean is make money, take money, give you money, remove money. You understand the difference? Okay, let's play the game. You're up. Why don't you pick first? Excellent, awesome. We'll go with car for 100. A car. Is it a good debt or is it a bad debt? Dude, you so smart? Absolutely, you got it right. That's awesome. It is a bad debt. Why is it actually bad? It's bad because a car, first of all, by having a car, does it make you money? No, it costs you money. It has a payment. Let's say your car payment is $400 a month. Well, you're out there in your car, you're driving it, and 30 days passes, and all of a sudden the bank that holds that car note says, you got to give me $400. We're trying to get this thing paid off. By the way, every single year, every single month you own your car, what happens to the value of it? It goes down in value. So it's a bad debt because it costs you money. Does it mean that the car is bad? No, it doesn't mean that the car is bad, but I will tell you, if you bought way more car than you can afford and you don't have any leftover money to invest and do smart things with, then yeah, then the car might actually be bad and you might want to look at offloading that thing even if you lose money. Sucks, but that's reality. All right, you won. You got 100 points. So why don't we go with another one? What's that? Oh, credit cards for 200. You risky baller, you. Let's talk about that one. Credit cards, good debt, bad debt. What do you think? Dude, you're acing this one. I got some tricks, aces up my sleeve, but you're right. This is a bad debt. Why are credit cards bad? Well, credit card is a consumer tool. And if you use your credit card to buy this vase at Pier 1, if you used it to actually buy a table or furniture, if you used it for groceries, if you were out of work for 2 months and you just lived off of the credit card, well, what you're doing is you're buying things that go down in value or you've consumed the value, but you have to keep paying them off. That debt can catch up with you. It's a bad thing if it can hurt you. Now, by the way, just for fun, could a credit card debt actually be a good thing? You're so smart, you get it. Yes, it actually can be a good thing. How does that work? If you actually were to use your credit cards to buy an asset that goes up in value, that pays you every month, then you would actually call that a good debt. But we're just assuming that we're using it the way most people are as a consumer device. As a result, it's a bad debt. All right, you're up. What? Investment properties for 300? Go for it. What do you think? Good debt? Bad? Yes, it is a good debt. You are spot on, right on the money. Investment property, what makes this a good debt? Okay, It is a debt. I bought an investment property, and let's say I have it rented out or lease optioned out with my killer compassionate financing system. Let's say that your mortgage costs $1,000 a month. Dude, who wants to pay an extra $1,000 a month? That's expensive. But the people in the house are paying you $1,500 a month. Cost you $1,000, they're paying you $1,500. How much is left over every month? 500 bones. So $500, you're getting ahead every month. By the way, you bought the house with $20,000 of equity. So now your net worth has gone up. When you go to sell it, you're going to recapture some of that. It's an appreciating asset that can go up in value and generally does over time, although the market goes up and down. Yes, it gives you a tax benefit. And yes, you get $500 a month cash flow. You super smart. So by the way, there's a good debt. You want to eliminate your bad debts. You want to amplify your good debts. Number 4, business debt for $400. Awesome. Great. What do you say? You're going to say, Kris, that is a good debt. Now let's talk about that. The purpose of going in business is sometimes it needs some startup capital or ongoing capital. And let's say that you're going door to door and selling your own pest control, and then you actually filled up your garage with pest control and you had to lay out $10,000 for the pest control. First of all, you are going $10,000 in debt because you bought pallets of pest control. But if you go out and you rock the doors and you're selling it, and by the time 3 months later, you've sold everything in your garage. It cost you $10,000, but you sold it all for $30,000. What was left over 90 days later? If you collected, $30,000 for selling all of that and you paid off your 10 grand, what's left over? $20,000. Let me ask you, if $20,000 spread over 90 days is $6,000-$7,000. So by the way, you made $6,000-$7,000 a month on average. During that summer, you averaged, if we were to amortize that over a year, you would be on track for maybe making $85,000 a year. That's awesome. So by the way, now was it risky? Yes. Could you have lost your money? Yes. Could you have not sold the product? Yes. This is a good debt, but you can lose with it. So you need to be aware that some business decisions are smart, some decisions are stupid. And you'll learn from a life experience. You'll lose money doing some dumb things, and then that debt's going to hurt you. But hopefully you figure out how to learn how to make good, smart business debt decisions that can get you ahead. Now, there's another way of actually talking about business debt. I'm just going to I'm going to pause for a moment. I want to talk about student loans, or I'm going to talk about the price you pay for digital courses, mentoring, or working with people to learn. Because when I started, one of the things that absolutely launched my career of success was when I started investing in me. Now, college was a great start, but colleges can't hold a spoon to anything that I've done since with mentors. I've now paid for all sorts of mentors in my life. Some mentors that have made tens of millions, hundreds of millions, some that have made over $1 billion. These people are expensive. They cost money. Like right now, I've just shelled out a massive amount of money for a new mentor. I've been working diligently the last 6 months with this billionaire mentor. And I got to tell you, I've already made my money back in droves. And I've raised my financial bar. My life will never be the same again. I've invested in myself. What would you call that? Well, if you wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, and you went to college, you're going to go into debt. But I would say that that is a good debt if you're going to use it to help, take that degree, start a profession, pay yourself back. That's very similar to going into a business debt. There are a lot of people that will go to college, no idea what they want to do. They get I don't want to say worthless degree, but they get a degree they're really not going to use. They're going to have loads of debt. And if you end up doing something entirely different, there's definitely some positives that come with that, but there's also some negatives too. So it depends. And too often in life, the answer is it depends on whether it's good or bad. Sometimes time will tell. My business decision, I've made bad decisions. I've made good decisions. Time has told and reflected back. Now, by the way, you are ahead. You've earned yourself 100, 200, 300, and 400 points. We're going to do your own home for 500. This is the trick question. Is it a good debt or is it a bad debt? The answer is that it depends. My very first house that I bought it with equity. I bought it with a basement that I could rent. I knew I was only going to live there for 2 years, so I could skip out on capital gains taxes, and I made a lot of money on that home. And then I used it to help buy my second home, and on and on and on. I delayed gratification from what I wanted. I could have bought myself something different or nicer. I had a friend who was making the same amount of money at the same time, bought a beautiful house on the hill. He's still living in that beautiful home, but I'm now living in a different type of lifestyle because my investments have got me somewhere that a job never could have. My first house was a true investment. Right now, if you're buying a house and you're buying it at market value and it's just to consume and live and there's no plan on making money from it, then we're going to classify that as a bad debt. If you're strategically using it to make money, it can be a good debt. It can be either. House is one of the most important, biggest purchases you'll ever make. You might buy 2 or 3 or 4 of them over the course of your life. If you can learn how to buy them as good debts with investment in mind, with equity, they can launch you forward in huge ways. So you get to decide on the home that you buy, whether it's going to be a good thing or whether it's going to be a bad thing. But my friend, I got to say, you aced it today, dude. 5 out of 5. You crushed it, which is you've been learning the difference between bad debts, good debts, and that sometimes things can go either way, and it will come down to your own cunning, your own learning, your own life experience. Friends, I hope this helps you today figure out the difference between good and bad debts. And one more thing I just got to say. If you like the idea of an investment property that can propel you forward, can create cash flow, residual income, equity, I want to invite you to click the link in the description below where me and my team can show you how without money and credit, we can show you how to acquire assets. It's ridiculous. We're talking about crazy through the roof ROIs. Generally, I put no money into any of my deals, and yet what I get paid out, all often my cut will be 30, 40, 50, 60,000 per home. And I do that on lots of homes. I can show you how to do it. If you want to learn how to do it, then click the link below. Otherwise, make sure you are a subscriber so that we can keep sharing more of our awesome daily videos with you. I hope they help create value for you and get you where you want to go, because you matter, you're important. So again, thank you for watching. I hope the future videos are going to help rock your world even further.